Hey everyone, my name's Jordan and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the anti-TBR tag. This is a tag where you basically answer a bunch of questions about books that you will never read for whatever reason. I am excited to get into this. I can definitely be a little bit picky about books, so this list was kind of easy to curate because I already had an idea of some of these. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first question is, a popular book everyone loves that you have no interest in reading. For this one, I'm going to say Verity by Colleen Hoover. I know I'm starting out strong. So I've only read one Colleen Hoover book. I read It Ends With Us, and I didn't love it. I felt like it was kind of, I don't know, not great. I talk about it in my Are These TikTok Books Worth It, which I will link above. It just wasn't my fave. And I know that Verity is more of like a thriller, and I am just not really into thrillers. I've tried a few of them and it's just not my thing. I don't really have anything against Colleen Hoover specifically. I don't have any hate towards this book. I just don't think it'll be a book for me. The next question is a classic book or author you don't have an interest in reading. For this one, I'm gonna say The Catcher in the Rye. I've heard mixed reviews about this book, but I always see like the funny TikToks or posts that are like, if a man says that this is their favorite book, it's a red flag. I'm not a big reader of classics anyway. I've never really been like super into them. Nothing against them, and there have been a few that I have enjoyed. It's just not something I normally gravitate towards. So I just really don't have an interest in reading this. If you think that is a mistake, please let me know. I know next to nothing about it, so there's not like a specific reason I don't want to read it. I just have no interest. So if you think I should, leave a comment down below and tell me why, because it will probably take some convincing to get me to read this. The next question is kind of a doozy. This one is a problematic author whose books you have no interest in reading. So for this one, I'm gonna say Delia Owens. I don't know if her name is Delia Owens, who wrote Where the Crawdads Sing. This one, you should Google it. I'm gonna butcher the story, so I'm not gonna get too much into it. But basically, her and her husband went to Africa and basically like tried to be vigilantes in hunting down poachers, and I think maybe killed a man? I don't know. It was just a lot to take in. I saw a bunch of this discourse a few months prior, and then recently they announced that they're making a movie for this book, and everyone was like, wait a minute. Just something worth looking up. If you liked Where the Crawdads Sing, maybe check out this author's history before announcing how much you love the book, because her and her husband are potentially murderers. I don't know the whole story. I'm not an expert, but I have no interest in reading her books. Plus, it's not a genre I typically would read anyway, so I probably would not have picked it up, but I might have if I didn't know about this. This next one also might be a little controversial, not as controversial as that last question, but an author you have read a couple of books from and have decided their books are not for you. For this one, I'm gonna say Jennifer L. Armentrout. I read From Blood and Ash, the first book and the second book, and enjoyed them. They were good. I thought that the second book was very fun. The first book was also fun, but the second one got a little steamier, so I was like, all right, cool. And then the third book. I started it, I got like 20-30% in, and it was just like nothing going on, and just like they were telling us instead of showing us things. And I was looking at reviews and everyone was like, man, it doesn't get fun until 80%. And I was like, I will not be reading the rest of this. I refuse to read a book that is boring for 80% of the book that I'm not really enjoying that much. Now, you might say, but Jordan, didn't you just say the third Wheel of Time book was like that? Yes, I'm full of contradictions. I don't know. But this one was not keeping me interested as much as the Wheel of Time was in the first two books. This one, the first two books were fun, but not incredible, not like something that was making me super excited to finish a series. Wheel of Time, I am excited to finish a series, and it's also much more well-known, and it's very long, and blah, blah, blah. This one, I was so bored, and I didn't really care about the characters that much, so I don't know. I think that maybe her writing isn't for me. I think she writes a lot of books, and I wonder if because she's writing so quickly that she's not putting out her best work. I don't know. I just didn't like it. I don't think I will be picking up any more of her books. I think that there are other authors out there that warrant more of my time. The next question is a genre you have no interest in or a genre you tried to get into and couldn't. This one, I'm gonna have to say, like mystery detective novels they're just really not my thing. I know for sure I don't like contemporary fiction mystery detective books. I've tried to read some fantasy versions and also just not really liked them. I've read the Anita Blake series, not all of it. I've read up to, I think, Bullet, and they got so bad. They got so bad. The first 10 books were okay, and then they got really bad. But the whole cop detective thing, mystery, is not really my thing. I tried to read the Dresden Files. I read the first one and hated the misogyny in it, and so looked up reviews and they said it doesn't really get better and that the first 4 books aren't even good. So not worth my time. I recently read Leviathan Wakes, which is a sci-fi book, first book in the Expanse series, and I loved the POV that was not the cop mystery thing, and then I didn't enjoy the cop mystery POV from Miller's point of view. So yeah, I just think that the whole cop solving a mystery detective thing is not for me in books. I grew up watching a whole lot of detective shows because my mom really loves CSI and things like that. But yeah, I think in a book it is not for me. I do not enjoy it. The next question did not really pertain to me. It was a book you bought but will never read. I am pretty particular in books I buy, which makes me kind of that is not very popular on the book community. People are always buying books all the time. But I don't really have a super long list of books I physically own that I haven't read. A lot of times I read books from the library, and then if I really like it, then I buy it. Which might seem counterintuitive because then there's a lot of books on my shelf that I haven't read that exact copy, but I want to own books I love. So I don't buy books that I don't think I'll read. I looked through my whole shelf and I couldn't find anything. So this one does not really pertain to me. I'm typically pretty smart about books I read. There are definitely some books I have not read at all that are on my shelf, but they're normally books that are super well received and that I know a lot of people in the community love because I feel pretty confident I will also love them. However, I don't have any that I bought just because it had a pretty cover or something. I don't do that kind of stuff typically. I will only buy a book if I am pretty certain I'll like it. I've read enough books now to have a pretty good understanding of whether I will like a book or not. It's not 100% because I still read books I don't like, but I've gotten pretty good about picking out books that I know I'll like. The next question is a series you have no interest in reading or a series you started and DNF'd. For this one, I'm going to go with The 100,000 Kingdoms by N.K. Jemisin. N.K. Jemisin is an incredible author. The Broken Earth trilogy is on my list of best fantasy series of all time, which I will link above. It is incredible, masterpiece. I'm pretty sure she won a Hugo Award for every single book in that series, and rightfully so, well deserved. So I went recently to read The 100,000 Kingdoms, and the premise seemed cool. It's the gods live among men kind of thing, and I love that premise. And it was just, I wasn't enjoying it. I was listening to it as an audiobook, and I was just not engaged. The characters were not engaging enough for me. I thought that the plot was so confusing. I really had no idea what was going on. I was just not really enjoying it. I think this is one of her older series, so I'm wondering if she just hadn't really developed her craft as well, or if it's just that this book is not for me. If you think I should try reading it again as a physical copy like I did with Gideon the Ninth, let me know if you think it is worth a read. But as of now, I don't see myself finishing it. I just didn't really love it. The last question is a new release you have no interest in reading. This one's kind of cheating because I already mentioned this author, but I'm gonna say It Starts With Us, which I don't think actually has come out yet, but maybe it was just announced. It's basically the sequel to It Ends With Us, which is the Colleen Hoover book I talked about at the beginning, which I didn't love. I didn't hate it. I think I gave it 3 stars. It was enjoyable enough, but it's just not a book I'm very interested in. I don't know what It Starts With Us is going to be about. Like, I don't know if it's going to follow the main character and the love interest. I won't spoil that because there's like a weird love triangle in the book. I don't know if it's going to follow those two or what. I honestly don't know. I thought that the ending of It Ends With Us was like a good tie it off kind of good ending. I thought it was good. I thought that the way it ended was satisfying, and I don't think it needs another book. And I have no interest in reading this. I just think Colleen Hoover's not for me. I know that she has a lot of like diehard fans that have read all of her books, and I just think that those books are not in my wheelhouse, which is fine. Some authors are just not for certain people. That's okay. So that is all of the questions on the anti-TBR tag. Again, I am pretty flexible in what I read, so if any of these seem like books that you think I should definitely try again or something, please let me know. Some I will not. I will not read Delia Owens' books. There are certain authors I will not read because of their problematic natures, or books I will not read because of problematic themes, but some of the books on this list I just didn't enjoy as much. So if you think I should try again, please let me know. I would like to thank you all for your support. As always, it means the world to me. And until next time, thank you.